This is a video to go over how to add in new point-in-time blocks of information to EmpowerDB. Just as a reminder, a point-in-time block of information is a collection of variables that are regarding something about your client that could either change over time, and you want to be able to have some sort of reporting ability to say, run a report and say, I want to know what things used to be, or what they are now, or what they've ever been. So it gives you really dynamic reporting capabilities for that. Or something about a client that there could be multiple occurrences of the same thing happening. In this example, we're going to be adding a scholarship fund variable, point-in-time block of information. So that's something where one client could receive multiple scholarship funds, and you'll want to have a record of all those different things. So let's start off by going to Database Administration and go into points in time. And we'll see this is our list, all our existing points in time blocks of information, but we want to go up here and add a new one. And it wants to know three things right now. It wants to know, first, what's your plural description of this block of information? This is the description that you'll see most often used in the database. So if we go back to our existing entries here, address locations, intake and exits, move in and move outs. That's all plural description of what it is. It also wants to know the singular description. So let's go up here and do scholarship funds, and a singular description would be, either fund or scholarship fund. You'll see this used in the database places where it says things like add a new fund, or you might want to say add a new scholarship fund. Whatever you think is the best kind of short way of saying a singular version of this thing. And it wants to know point-in-time ID. This is very similar to some of the other IDs that we've seen in adding variables and editing the options of variables. It's just kind of an internal thing that you'll never see again. The system just needs to have some sort of really short, concise way of describing things inside of the guts of the database. So let's call this one fund. And you can take a look at this help file to read kind of what your restrictions are for coming up with IDs. And this help file is also going to go over some other potential things to keep in mind when you're creating point-in-time blocks of information. So let's go ahead and add this, and it's created. So it says success, it's added, but it wants to let us know the new block has been added to the end of your master information page. So that one information page that we had that has all of our variables and all of our points in time, that new thing that we just created has been added to the very end of that page. So we might want to click here to edit that page structure, and that opens up a brand new window. And now if we scroll down, we can see here, scholarship funds has been added to this point in time, this information page. And we're getting this notice because we'll probably want to go and put this somewhere else, because as it stands now, it looks like it's in the VOCA intake section, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. So let's say we want to move it up here and then create a new section header over here. Call it like that. So it's important to have this your site's master information page nicely organized, because you'll be referencing this in different ways throughout your system. So now that we've done that, that's great. So now we're here at the point in time settings. We can change our plural and singular description if we want. And we can now at this point edit the structure, and I'll go over what the rest of this is later. So we're going to edit the structure, and every point in time block of information starts off with a date variable. They always have to have a date variable. If we go over here and we try to remove it, we can't. It's locked. Every point in time has to have some sort of date variable. Now we can change the name of it. We can say date fund distributed, and we can save changes to that. We can add in new variables here, and let's say we want to have a number. So amount given. Let's just call it amount for the ID. Let's put in another new variable that says, what was it for? can change the options to this and say something like college, GED program, you know, whatever. Save changes. So all the tools that you know on how to create new variables and change the importance settings and the options and edit the name, they all apply here once you've created this new block of information. So we're going to save changes there. Now we're going to go back to scholarship funds and we can go over some of these other settings. The focus variable is what we want to specify as pretty much the most important variable in the block of information that we just added. So let's go take a look at an example. The address, locations, point in time. See over here in the past entries, we can see the date, and we can also see, you know, the most important thing about this block of information. And so this is pretty much the only place the focus variable is used, and it's really just used to help navigate here when you're looking at all these different past entries and see which one you want to take a look at. So on this one, the current location is set as the focus variable. So now if we go back, we can say what do we want to focus on. So for this one, we probably, you know, maybe want to say the amount given is what we want to see when we're navigating, you know, and seeing which date was what. You can also say I want a total of all numerical values or a dollar total of all numerical values. So we actually might, even though there's just one numerical value in there, we might want to select this one because it's going to show up in our focus variable as a dollar total with a dollar sign and all that. So that's what the focus variable is. And there's a help file here that explains a little bit more what that means. You can also specify which of clients in which program should have this block of information appear on their basic information page. So let's take a look at an example of that. Here's a list of all the points and times that this client in this program can see in this section here. So notice how scholarship funds is not selected for clients in any program. So it doesn't so much mean that this client doesn't have access to this block of information. It just means it doesn't show up only in this section. You know, we could go over to all client data page and go to the funds section and we can find it in here, but you can decide whether you want kind of quick access to this block of information when looking up a client here. So let's say we want clients in the community program to have quick access to this block, and let's say we only want it to be for adults. So if we edit settings, now if we go back to this client who does appear to be in the community program and refresh, we can see that, yep, there it is, access into the scholarship funds. That's all there is. Definitely please take a look at all these different help files that exist throughout the process, and those will give you a little bit more information about what to do. Thanks.